Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to What's Up Vlog 157, I believe it is. Back to the league racing. This isn't a continuation of the What the F vlog that I filmed yesterday. I had to share that with you guys because I just knew that's what was going to happen if I put Mrs. Neal on a bike, and she didn't disappoint. But anyway, this is back to the serious stuff. League race, WKG Racing League, round 3, rags to riches. We are on the Richmond course. We're doing individual time trials. Quite a few have already gone. There are quite a few very impressive times. A couple of my key rivals have already set times as well, so I have an advantage in I kind of know what I need to be aiming for. But that said, I had a target in my mind anyway to try and do this particular TT in under an hour. It's going to be hard. It's basically 2 laps of the full Richmond UCI course. I have done that in under an hour before, but that wasn't on a TT bike, so that was with the benefit of the full draft, etc. I've seen Ringvisser has already beaten the hour mark with his time. Stunning job, and he's one of my key rivals, obviously. So I will be pushing hard on this one. My tactic is going to be similar to the first time trial that we did in round 1. Try and stick to around 200 watts, I think, for probably the entire first lap, depending. If that looks like it's too slow to break the 30-minute barrier for that lap, then I might have to up it a little bit. But the main objective is to be faster on the second lap than on the first lap, and see how we go. So I'm all WKG Go juiced up. Got a banana on the go. I'm sporting the retro kit tonight. This one hasn't been out of the drawer for a little while, so I thought I'd give her a spin. And I've just done about 6k warm-up around Richmond, logged out, logged back in again. Ah, right, that reminds me. This is probably the first decent bit of consumer, or it's not technical, but the first bit of actual advice I can give anybody. Everybody knows the problems I've been having with my heart rate monitor. Keith Denton very kindly mentioned a little while back to try Vaseline on the pads. That worked. And it worked pretty well for my last ride, but was still slightly intermittent. What I have done for this one, however, is that. Nivea chapstick for your lips. It might be purely coincidence, but I rubbed this on the 2 centre pads on the strap, and it was the first thing to be detected and to work when I logged into Zwift. Normally I get the trainer detected, spin it a bit to get the cadence sensor recognised, and then I'm fiddling around with the heart rate or the Apple Watch for hours to get that working. Boom, straight on. It's not dropped out once yet on my entire warm-up, and obviously I've logged out and back in again, and boom, straight on again. So this could be the solution to anybody that's got a slightly iffy strap for their heart rate monitor. Nivea Hydro Care SPF 15 lip balm. There you go. I'm not sponsored by Nivea. There are other lip balms available, I should probably add. Right, anyway, I'm going to switch to screen recording. Oh, I tell you what, just before I start, another bit of exciting news. A lot of you will be very pleased to hear that my MacBook is finally going to be replaced with something from this generation. I've ordered a nice brand spanking new, all singing, all dancing, all bells and whistles MacBook Pro. I was going to go for an Alienware PC, which I know spec-wise and certainly spec like power per pound is far superior to the MacBook, but most of my work is done on Mac. Well, nearly all of my work is done on Mac, so it made sense to upgrade for work purposes as much as for Zwifting and streaming. But hopefully that'll be ready in a week or 2, and these vlogs and potentially some live streams will be in nice full HD and not this sort of laggy nonsense that you've had to put up with from me for a while. So fingers crossed that'll be here soon, and should make the Month on 2 vlogs a little bit better as well. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to shut up. The start line is just down there, a few hundred metres ahead of me. Oh yeah, I can see Andy Beveridge just behind me. Let's give him a quick ride on. Is he going to be starting his time? Where's my mouse gone? There we go. Mr. Beveridge, right on, my friend. Right, jump back to me. There we go. Right, fans on. Legs are spun up nicely. Got my towel. Right, let's start rolling. So I need to be hitting this start line at pace to have the best chance. Oh, I can see Duncan Bruce behind me as well. I think I saw Duncan doing his warm-up while I was doing mine, so maybe he's just about to get started. Right, another thing I learned from the Out to Zwift climb the other day, where I barely spoke for the entire climb and took chunks of time over my previous PB up there. So I've learned to keep my mouth shut. So for the majority of this race, I'm going to try and stay stum. But just before that, thank you Percy Santamaria and I think it was Jamie Swan for the ride-ons. Right, here we go. Let's get up to at least 200 watts. Get some cadence going. And we are going to hit the start line now. Hey, Mr. Morwood. Team ODZ, thank you buddy for the ride on. I can see Kevin Wilts rider, just gone past me, 4 watts per kilogram, doing an awesome job. Thank you so much for all the ride-ons. As you can hear, I'm a bit breathless, so I've not been able to talk at all for this opening 11.5 kilometres. We're just coming to the end of the flat bits. About to hit the horrible hills, so there'll be even less talking from that point. I do want to quickly wish Mr. Kenneth Scramstead a very happy birthday, one of our most active members and just a nicer guy you couldn't wish to meet. He's, without having actually physically met him, he's just a top guy. So happy birthday buddy. Whew. Alright, back to it. Right, lap 1 done. Just didn't quite make sub 28 minutes. That's alright. That's a good time. I'll be surprised if I can do anything like that on this second lap though. Woo! I am hot and sweaty and not enjoying this now. Alright, back to it. Definitely struggling to hold the 200 watts steadily now.
keep seeing myself dropping down to 180s, 170s. I need to just try and keep this pace, not push any higher really, so I can save something for those final climbs. Annoyingly, I can actually feel cramp coming on a little bit in my right calf, which I didn't get even on the last time I did Alpe the Zwift, so that's a bit disappointing. But obviously this is a different kind of riding at race pace. Incidentally, the bonus points for this race are on this sprint. It's coming up now. I will not be challenging for it because that will seriously jeopardise my possibilities of getting a strong finishing time. So I'm going to try and stick to this pace for now. While I am chatting, and before I shut up again, just to wish Tim Fulford and Jesper Anker, and I think Quentin Molinez is there, and quite a few others whose names, sorry, escape me for the moment, but they're all at Paris-Roubaix doing the Sportif. So good luck with that, guys. Really jealous, as much as I couldn't think of anything worse than riding on cobbles. I'd love to experience it somewhere like Roubaix. So have fun, stay safe, and look forward to hearing about it when you get back. Right, head down, pedal spinning.
Stay right there. I'm coming right away, my dear. Try this job, try this job, try this job, try this job,
Right, here we go, hitting the hills again. I managed to keep quite a decent pace, so I'm pretty pleased so far. It's going to be touch and go, but hopefully I've saved enough for these climbs.
when I can't find home, 'cause the stars won't glow. You're the light that guides my way on empty roads. When my burdens show, 'cause I walk alone. You're the brightness in the dark inside my soul. 'Cause I know that I'm the name on your lips, boy. Take my pain with your kiss, boy. Here I'll stay, I'll stay.
Right, last 500 metres. Didn't beat my first lap, but it still could be a pretty decent time for me. Last 150. I would sprint, but I have nothing in my legs. Last 100. Yes. 28:41 to 56:42. Oh, I'm pleased with that. Oh dear. Oh my goodness me. Oh. I don't like time trials at all. Oh, oh dear. I am very, excuse me, very pleased with the time. Oh, I didn't even set any sort of personal best for 5 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes or 20 minutes. Which I felt like I should have done, given the absolute disgusting feeling in my legs. Oh, right. I'm going to do what I did on the last TT. I'm going to wrap up while I'm doing the Strava segment times, so I can give you like a live oh, I can't even think, what am I talking about? Live finishing times of everybody. It's 7:45 now, so we've got an hour and 15 minutes to go before cut-off point. So after 9 o'clock I'll be jumping on Strava, going through everybody's times, allocating points. I'm going to do my best to find the sprint times. Trouble with Strava is they don't give decimals, they round everything to the nearest whole second, so that might be tricky, but we'll have a look, see what we can do. Average 214 watts apparently. Oh, I kept doing that, did you notice? Oh, during the race. Kept knocking my microphone off my extremely high-tech boom that I've got here, my microphone stand. It doesn't want to stay on there, there we go. Right. Oh dearie me. Oh, I will go and eat something. Soak in a shower. Let's turn that down a bit so maybe you can hear me. The fan, I had the angle of the fan all wrong, but I couldn't lean off the bike to change it. That's one excuse. I'll think of some others before I wrap it up. But yeah, so I'm going to cut it now, go and get myself sorted, and I'll be back with the live finishing times.
Right, so here we are. What a brilliant race that was, and I am super pleased with my time after being able to reflect on it with a little bit of food, a shower, relaxation. I'm really pleased with that, I've got to say. Disappointed I didn't get a negative split. I was hoping to do better on the second lap than the first, but I would definitely take that, especially with the advantage of knowing some of my competitors' times prior to me doing my lap, so or my laps rather. So yeah, really pleased with that. But right, what I'm going to do now is we will run through the points and finishing orders that I've allocated in each category. There were a couple of other riders in there that weren't registered as league riders, but I will mention them as well because mainly because it's another married couple, which was an absolute. I'm so chuffed. I'm really tempted to set up a couples league with maybe using aggregate times for Keith and Catherine Denton, myself and Mrs. Neal. The two new riders who are Paul Trilk and Maria Trilk, who both put in very respectable times. Paul did the 2 laps of Richmond in 56 minutes 41, so he beat me by 1 second. I'm actually glad you're not in the league table at this point, Paul, because that would have been some points taken from me. And his wife Maria did it in 59 minutes and 25 seconds. So excellent job by you guys. Right, anyway, quickly focus on the league and go through the positions and the points. So as you can see, for round 3, we have in first place. Actually, this is the... No, I don't want the league table yet, do I? I want the actual race result. Okay, so, A category, fastest lap. It's just simply stunning time, 46 minutes and 3 seconds. By Paul Sharp. He also took the sprint, which was the Monument Street sprint, so he gets the bonus 2 points there as well. So a full haul for Paul. Oh dear. Of 22 points. Martin Backer next up at 48.48. On 18 points, and Evelyn Aird's the only other A rider to ride at 48.51, so just 3 seconds separating Martin and Eve. So fantastic job to you guys. So the A category, only 3 riders racing. We did have Mats Seafried also raced, who's not a registered league rider, who put in a brilliant time of 51.52. Now I'll have to check to see whether that would work as an A or a B cat rider when we get to the B times in a minute, but well done you guys in the A's. Right, B cat. B category win for Jamie Swan, 48.50, another stunning time. 11 seconds ahead of second place Frank Storley, and Frank also took the sprint time, so he gets 20 points along with Jamie. Next up, Wilts Rider, 49.54, taking 16 points and just 4 seconds ahead of Cameron Flynn at 49.58. Next up we have Nick Taylor at 15 seconds. followed by Martin Meadows at 51.52. Tom Quinn, so actually, yeah, so Matt Seafried, 51.52 also, would have put him joint with Martin Meadows in the B category. So excellent time there, Max. Tom Quinn's up next, 53.28, followed by Pedro Lopez Leto at 54.15 and Rikard Johansson at 54.21. So, and then also actually, yeah, Padron, 54.32. So another really close fight between Pedro Ricard and Padron. And then actually, yeah, then Brian Roden at 54.37. It always amazes me in these races where nobody can see anybody else. We're all just on the course on our own. No assistance from draft or anything like that. And the fact that we come up with such close times is brilliant. So where did I get to? Yes, Brian Roden, 54.37. Next up, Mr. Oliver Higby at 55.09. Just 8 seconds ahead of the man who deserves special mention this week, if for nothing else than the fact that it looks like he could be solely responsible for finally getting us our in-game team kit. I've not had a response from my messages to Zwift, my email messages this week, but I know Emmanuel had also messaged them and has had a response from Emily at Zwift basically saying she is on it and to watch this space. So Emmanuel, you absolute legend. You will be known as Lord Emmanuel Persan if this all comes through. So anyway, brilliant time, 55.17. Next up, Darren Smith, great job at 55.31 and followed at 56.52 by Niall Simpson. And then finally in the B category, we have Mr. Jim Pocock at 57.27. It's great work, guys. Everybody picking up a nice load of points. Quite a few non-starters in the B category this week, which was a shame, but I was aware Fridays aren't ever going to be the best time for a lot of you guys. Right, C category. Winning the C category, Mr. Chris Davis, 53.46. Just 10 seconds ahead of Duncan Bruce at 53.56. Great ride, both of you. And 1 second behind Duncan Bruce, Robert Andre Mickelson, 53.57. Stunning times, all three of you. Duncan picks up the bonus points for the Monument Street Sprint, so well done on that. Coming up behind Robert, we have Rudy Palsma at 54.05, followed closely by Kevin Wiltshire at 54.47, and then we have Len Capel at 55.04. Coming up behind Len at 55.54, we have Mr. Rich Patterson, who managed to beat Sonia Detail by, 14 seconds, am I right? Something like that. 56.08, great job Sonia. And then we have, this I'm gutted about, Mr. Nick Pousson, 56.40. Great time. And having been riding with you so closely in the previous round, despite you not officially being on my list of 5 riders to beat, I did have you in my mind as one that I wanted to target. Obviously, I wouldn't have known your time until after my ride, and you beat me by 2 seconds. I'm absolutely gutted, but great job, man. So 56.40 for Nick, and I came in at 56.42. As I mentioned before, Paul Trilk, who's not registered in the league, would have been sandwiched between the two of us at 56.41. So great job, Paul. Right, after me, and only 9 seconds behind me, Mr. Paul Somerville at 56.51, followed by Mr. Snorrefeli, Vela Viking, at 57.10, and Carlos Valadares coming up next at 57.40. Then we have the first rider on my list to beat, Mr. Ink Visser, 58.25. So, without trying to deliberately seem smug, that's one of my 5 is behind me. And the fact that I've not seen any of the other 5 ahead of me so far in this list bodes pretty well. So, next up, after Mr. Rick Visser, number 2 on my list, Mr. Keith Denton at 58.38. And number 3 on my list, Catherine Denton at 58.42. Things are looking good. 3 of the 5 I managed to take points from, so I'm pleased with that. But great job, guys, anyway. I don't want to make this all about me, but it's hard not to be all about me. Next up, Rich Siegler, 59.14, followed by number 4 on my list, Mr. Darren Hunter. Now, what's really funny about this is I know Darren had some issues, and I'm ignoring all of them, apart from the fact that he's blamed his neighbours having a barbecue next door. As racing excuses go, that's possibly the most inventive, but not the most convincing one. So Darren was only beaten by me because his neighbours had a barbecue. That's what I'm sticking with. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that because it's funnier not to. Right, behind Darren Hunter we have Paul Daly at 101.17, followed by Mr. Mike Mitchell 102.28, and Mr. Jason Arblaster 102.58. Well done, guys. So once again, quite a few C-Cat riders not starting this particular round. Right, let's jump onto the Ds. Okay, stunning time, Mr. Patrick Baker. Now, I'm anticipating a few inquiries into this as to whether you should be moved back to the Cs based on that. I think this probably qualifies for a strike, that performance. Not an automatic move back to the Cs, because there clearly is a certain type of course and certain type of ride that suits you very well, and it seems to be these head-down power, flattish course time trials. Where this season is going to be so mixed, it does even itself out with the hillier terrain that we will be coming up to, particularly in the next round. But brilliant time, 1 hour 58 seconds for the full 20 points. Next up, Noel McGrath, 102.53, brilliant time for 18 points, followed by Ruth Ambrose at 104.08. Then we have 107.00 for Mr. David Wright, but he actually picks up the 2 points for the sprint time as well. So great job, David. Just 7 seconds behind David, we have Chad Blakey at 107.07. And then just a further 9 seconds behind, Nadja Mentz on 107.18. Then bringing up the rear, we have Mr. Joe Harvey at 110.19. And Matt King, 1 hour 11 and 12 seconds. Great job, guys. I tell you what, I've been looking at the league table. This D category, I think, has the potential to be one of the best fought categories for this entire season. I think it's looking really, really interesting. So one non-starter in this particular round, which is Michael Ward, which is a shame. One other time I'm going to mention, which hasn't been included in the league results, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't part of this particular race. I think this time was set on a non-TT bike during another race, and that was Andy Beveridge, who did a time of 59.11. Andy, please let me know if I'm wrong. If you did indeed ride that on a TT bike, let me know. But it looked like it was part of your Friday Criterium race, which is why I've not included it in this. But there we go. So anyway, well done, everybody. Great job. Now we can go and have a look at the league table, if I've still got it open. Yes, we have. A category. Let's flick to total points and names. We have, at the top of the A's, Mr. Evelyn Ayres on 68 points, followed by Paul Sharp at 62, Martin Backer on 50, Paolo Mari at 36, and Adam Weddington on 28, with Tim, Jesper, Akim, Nigel, and Brett to really sort of register themselves with any performances in that category so far. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. B category, we have Mr. Frank Storley at the top, followed by Wilts Ryder on 60. Frank Storley on 78, by the way. Kenneth Scramstead, who missed this round because of his birthday. Happy birthday, Kenneth, on 58. And then we've got a really tight scrap between Brian Roden on 49, Rickard Johansson 47, Cam Flynn 47, and Nick Taylor on 44. That's a fight that I'm hoping will go all the way through. Then another tight scrap, just a few points behind, with Tom Quinn 38, Jamie Swan 34, David Potts on 33. Then a jump back to Padrone on 26. Then 3 riders all on 20 points, Dave Crook, Manuel Persan and Martin Meadows, with Peter Wilson on 18, Darren Smith 17, Pedro Lopez Leto on 17, Hans Petter Summerson 16, along with Oliver Higby also on 16. Then we have Niall Simpson and Jim Pocock on Niall on 14, Jim on 13. Then a bit of a jump down to Dave Harmsworth on 6, Rich Vickers 5, Nick Rogers on 2, and then David, John, Stein, Dan and Matt all to register their first points. So again, there are some really good tight battles going on in the B Cat. Category C. This is like the football thing, isn't it? When they read out the results. Liverpool 3, Manchester City 0. But I can't maintain that voice for the whole time, so I'll just do it my way. Right, top of the C Cat, Mr. Rudy Powellsmouth, 73 points, followed by Chris Davies on 66, Len Capel 55, closely followed by Duncan Bruce and Sonia Pullman on 52 and 50 respectively. Then another little tight trio here, Rich Patterson 46, and Rich Siegler and Kevin Wiltshire both on 42. Then we jump to Robert Andre Mickelson on 36, with Paul Somerville just a point behind on 35. And then the rider everybody's most interested in, who's finally managed to take a position above Darren Hunter in the league, Mr. Marcus Neal on 24 points, with Darren on 23. Then we've got two riders on 22, Velo Viking and Nick Pousson, followed by D. Cass on 20, Mark Smith on 16, and Jane Coates also on 16. Now, Jane, let me know. I thought you'd ridden this race, but there is no record of a time that I could find anywhere for you. So if I'm missing something, please let me know. There's another rider, actually, which I'll get to in a second, in a similar position where I know you competed, but possibly on the wrong course, but we'll come to that in a second. So after Jane, we have Catherine Denton and Percy Santamaria on 12 and 11, with Keith also on 11, Keith Denton that is. Then three riders on 8 points, Andreas Detail, Joel Walker and Carlos Valadares. Then we jump to 7 points for Rink Visser, and down to 4 for Linda Kellum. And Linda, you're the other rider I was referring to. I know you rode, and I don't know if there was a question as to whether you had ridden the wrong course or it just hasn't saved properly. But again, if you're able to find any files or any links to anything that shows that race, let me know, and I can obviously adjust the positions. So Linda on 4 points, Paul Daly on 4 points, Mike Mitchell on 4 points, Jason Arblaster on 4 points. Then we jump to Mark Greenshields on 2 and John Grasso on 2. And we've got a few riders, Dwight, Jed, Stefan, Andy, Paul, Martin, Donald and Paul Bickford, all yet to register their points in the C category. And finally we come to D category. And as I mentioned, this is looking, I think this could be really interesting. So we've currently got Ruth Ambrose at the top with 72 points, followed by Noel McGrath at 66, Patrick Baker at 60, Matt King 52, Nadja Mentz 49, David Wright 47, Michael Ward and Joe Harvey both on 40, and Chad Blakey on 38. I just think that's got potential with the varying terrain, where Patrick's going to clearly pick up points in certain races. I think Ruth and Noel will have strength in other races. Joe's definitely got strengths in certain races. I'm not as familiar with Chad and Michael, apologies. So yeah, I think there's potential there for this to be really mixed in terms of the results throughout the season. So I think that could possibly be the category to watch. So anyway, so that's that. Done. Brilliant race, really good fun. Once again, as always with these WKG races, you guys do it in such a great spirit. I've seen all the banter since, comparing times, and the light-hearted sledging that goes on between close rivals. It's just brilliant. It's what makes this league what it is. Absolutely excellent. I'd like to say I enjoyed the actual riding part of the race. First lap, I did. As soon as I crossed the line to start the second lap, I was just praying for it to be over sooner rather than later. It was, those TTs are just hard work. It's just a solid grind, as you all know. But it's done. We do have a couple more TTs in this series, so they were predetermined. Having done a couple now, I'm kind of regretting having put so many in, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here just to say thank you all so much for racing. Thank you all for watching. And do let me know if I've made any mistakes. This league table and the race results will be on the website by the time you see this video. Thank you also for all your nice comments regarding Mrs. Neal's ride the other day. It was hilarious to watch, even for me, and I deal with that on a 24-hour basis. It's not that literally is just how she is with pretty much everything she ever does, and it was pretty predictable that that's how it was going to be as soon as I put her on the bike. She's going to be jumping on again within the next day or two. She's promised that we're going to try and keep this going, because it was intended to be a serious thing where she was going to try and sort of document the benefits of it and her weight loss prior to us going away. And it still could be, but I get the impression it's just going to be a lot of moaning and whinging. But could be good entertainment anyway, so keep your eyes peeled for that. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I've got a nice glass of red that I'm going to polish off and then chill out. Catch you all in the next one.